welcome once again to the Forward Compatible Podcast. This is episode 129 for August 3rd, 2014. My name's Tony. I'm joined, as always, by my fellow podcasters, Mossies and Jason. How's everyone doing?
Hi.
Let's get this soul train rolling and kick off the show with our weekly roundtable and catch up on what we've been playing since the last time we all spoke.
And with that, we're going to let Moss take it away because he's probably got about 5-10 minutes worth of.
I played Zelda this week. A lot of it. This past week was our Zelda Dungeon Marathon. So
That's why we were live there
last week.
Last Sunday, which I still have to put up the recording.
It was scheduled for 108. No, we ended up playing for, I believe, 114 straight hours. I played 7 games.
Let's start at the beginning. You kicked it off with the pre-show. Saturday morning.
Phantom Hourglass was the first game. That was a good 6 hours. That night I played Oracle of Ages, immediately followed by Oracle of Seasons, the combined game. That was about 9 hours.
Combined?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then after those 3, I took 2 days off. I didn't play anything.
Mm-hmm.
I played Four Swords Adventures, the multiplayer when we played that, and Tetris Trekkers.
Okay.
The Japanese only. We played on my modded GameCube.
Nice.
And we had 5 screens, so you can see.
Speaking of GameCubes.
Then I played Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link.
But you rage quit.
Sort of rage quit. I got swift-boated a little bit.
Yeah.
Is that the word, swift-boated? Is that what they did in John Kerry? Okay. Quick story. So in the weeks leading up to the marathon, I was a lot of the games I was playing were races against other people.
Yes.
So Adventure of Link, I had previously, during the mini-marathon, did the game in 3 hours and 4 minutes was my time. And last year's marathon, I did it in 3 hours and 5 minutes.
Okay.
So a pretty consistent time in that 3 hours. I was racing Blake, who, leading up to the marathon, I asked him if he can do the game in less than 3.5 hours. And he's like, I'm fairly confident I can do it in less than 3.5. I'm like, what about, can you do it in less than 3:15? He's like, I'm not sure, I think so. Okay, so at this point, and then some of the other games I was playing, the guys I was competing against had much better times than I did.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent a lot of my time, I also played Link's Awakening. So I spent a lot of time practicing Link's Awakening, Oracle of Seasons, and Oracle of Ages.
Yeah.
So the end result was Oracle of Ages and Seasons and Link's Awakening were all races that ended within 5 to 10 minutes. So they were good competitive
They were
races.
consistent.
Yeah. Adventure of Link we're playing, and we're about right away 20-25 minutes into the game, and Blake's like pulling ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting a little concerned here. And I started playing a little more risky. I wasn't playing as conservative. I wasn't, that's like an experience-based game. You have to.
Yeah.
I started not even killing enemies, just jumping over them, just to get through the game to try to keep up. And it became apparent that, and he was doing some tricks that I wasn't aware of, and doing things like a little out of order. And furthermore, like I was telling him about my strategies, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I already know your strategies. I watched your videos from my marathon last year and my mini marathon." So he did opposition research on me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my goodness. So then I started, I was playing, I wasn't as high leveled where I should be at certain stages later in the game. And I started dying because I was just not prepared. And then, it got to the point where I fell behind to the point where it was insurmountable for me to come back.
Yeah. Around the 4th palace.
Yeah. It became apparent that this race was lost. So I'm like, all right, I conceded. Rage quit. You used the term you'd like. After the game, after I left, I asked Blake, I'm like, what's your best time? He said an hour 59.
Yeah.
So he knew my best time was 3 hours and 4 minutes. And he knew his best time was a full hour and 5 minutes better. And didn't tell me, which prevented me from practicing, which made it not even a fun race.
Yeah. Yeah.
I felt I got cheated, but this was 9 in the morning and everybody was passed out sleeping. It was just him and I awake. And me and Mosul, we just went and got lunch. I'm like, all right, you want the victory, you can celebrate it just by yourself. So
Enjoy your alone time.
yeah. And then
Excellent.
we played A Link to the Past.
Yes. I participated in the 7-person finale.
7 stream, like all 7 inputs were on a single stream.
Here's the best part. Like, right before Moss calls me, he goes, "Have you been practicing?" I said, "Not at all."
I'm like, great.
He said, "Great." Okay. So it was myself and his friend Vic, which we were affectionately called the B team, essentially. Like, we were not playing competitively, you know. So what happened is within the first half an hour of the game, me being in last place, there was a $75 donation that came through, which effectively put me in first place.
Yeah,
Okay?
it caused the first place and 7th place people
To switch.
So,
Permanently.
just to give some, like the fans were able to donate and affect the gameplay,
Uh-huh.
so they can hurt or harm people, and they chose to flip
So-
first and 7th.
As we were getting set up, when Trevor, who was on the show last week, was setting everything up, first off, my name was Tony.
Why?
He thought my name was Tony.
He
Oh.
watched it. Yeah, it was great.
But so then it became totally not Tony.
Okay.
So he set it so that myself and Vic would never be the main screen, which is fine. But then I took over first place. So now I'm bumped up to the main screen. Vic, who hasn't played the game in over 10 years,
Since the 90s.
absolutely dominated. Was in the top 3 for a good portion of the game.
Yeah.
Never on the main screen. It came to a point where, as like last year, they raised X amount of dollars to send Moss and Blake, who were the number 1 and number 2 players, out to buy White Castle. They had to go get us 2 crave cases.
Nice.
While they were gone, we were allowed to screw up their games even further. But at that point, once they left, I put down my controller and started messing with everybody else's stuff. Because Andrew Dillon was trying to work it out where he was going to pull, where I could switch from last place, which I was significantly further behind with Blake. But we were unable to pull it off in time. But that was the inside strategy. Is then I was going, like, literally when he was fighting Ganon.
Like the end boss.
When he was fighting Ganon, he was going to pull the switch, but it just didn't work out. Thank you anyways, Andrew Dillon. You contributed great to it. You kept Benny very upset throughout the entire stream. Hashtag Team Forward Compatible and hashtag Tony Chow were filling up the chat. In total, how much did Zelda Dungeon raise?
I think we ended up raising 5,500.
56.
5,600. Okay, see, he knows more than me.
But I would just, but yeah, so, and
It was fun. It was a good
it
time.
It was.
What'd you play?
I started an older game that was on sale
Link to the
on
Past?
PlayStation, a game called Sound Shapes. And my God, if you are in the PlayStation ecosystem at all, pick that little gem up. It's like $7 or $8. It is brilliant. This little blob, and given if you hold on to stuff, you stick to everything, but you can let go and unstick, and it's essentially a puzzle platformer, and it's like a race against time. And you collect these little blips, and they make the music start playing even more and more and more. And they actually got like big bands to create the music, like Beck and stuff like that. So
It's very similar to Patapon, yes? On the PSP?
No. Vocally, yeah. Like sound-wise, but gameplay, not even a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And now I'm in this thing called Death Mode, which I think you would absolutely love because it is old school arcadey, and it's almost like Super Meat Boy, where you have to like complete something in like 30 or 40 seconds, but you're gonna die hundreds of times trying to accomplish it because you got to find like the perfect way to do it and how to. And the thing is, it constantly changes it, so there's no memorization. Like all the spawn points change literally every time. It's randomly generated, so you can't go like, oh, let me jump here and then jump here, and then you find out that you have to hold a half a second to avoid the enemy. So then you figure that out and you slowly go piece by piece. It doesn't work out like that because it's different every time. So it's really hard and it's really fun. It's a cool game.
Very nice.
I've been doing that pretty much all week.
Nice. Well, that'll conclude our weekly roundtable, which leads us into another segment of Half-Assed News.
News half-ass style.
Dirty, sexy,
start the week off by explaining a little bit of what's going on here. Obviously, there's this big white wall back here. We are back in the.
It's not white. Adjust. It's actually purple. You need to adjust your computer screen.
Contrast.
Yeah.
We are back in the forward compatible studio. What the forward compatible studio is it is the back section of our retail location called Gamer HQ.
Uh-huh.
We are just over. Well, by the time this goes up, we're about a week away from opening the store.
And I am doing a sweet walkthrough video when it's open.
Yes.
I'm gonna take this little camera that we record on and walk through the store and show you guys everything.
Yeah.
But it's not ready yet, so.
Basically, what Gamer HQ, really quick, as a cheap plug is we are located in the northwest side of Chicago, right at Six Corners. We will have a full online retail store for some of you like Eos who can't make it out to the store. So if you want to shop, you can. But it's going to be vintage video games, board games, card games, miniature figures. We're going to have educational classes, introductions to different games like Dungeons and Dragons, and it's just going to be a nice little mixture of everything. So it's gonna be cool. So
We're also going to sell potato chips.
and some sodas. And so we're scheduled to open the week before or the week of Gen Con. Also, if any of our listeners are going to Gen Con, I'm gonna be there all 4 days. So
Go
feel
slap
free,
them.
hit me up on Skype.
Literally.
Yeah, I will videotape it. Just to hit me up on Skype and let me know if you guys are coming out. If you are, I'll be more than gladly to meet up with you guys. So that was our first news story because it's kind of a big deal.
And fans, if they live in the Chicagoland area,
Please, by all means, stop by.
Yeah.
We will
Come
let
hang out.
everyone know we're going to have a grand opening party probably the week after Gen Con. So like 2 weeks into the store.
and then they could actually technically come and watch us.
Record whenever you guys want.
Yes, Sunday afternoons. We will be here in the studio, in the store, recording the podcast live.
Purple wall and everything.
So that's going to bring me to another not so quite video game related news story here.
More half-ass news.
Some serious half
Some serious half-ass news. We're Ninja Turtle fans.
Yes.
How do you feel about Ninja Turtles?
I love it.
Okay.
I'm totally gonna go see it next
Well,
week.
that's what I was going to say.
Ninja,
Early reviews
Ninja, rat, ninja, ninja.
Are decent?
Rat.
Early reviews of Michael Bay's version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are actually good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I was expecting single
By,
digits on the tomato.
by hardcore Ninja Turtle fans that they've shown the
Oh wow, that's even better.
yeah. So
Maybe the
with
most
exception, I've got the biggest complaint that everybody said
Megan
besides
Fox in the mouths.
yeah, exactly.
Had to be,
But
right?
but everything else is awesome. From what I've heard, Johnny Knoxville does a really damn good job as the voice of Leonardo in the movie. And since you were
Didn't even know
singing
that.
Ninja Rap, there is right now out there in the interwebs a brand new Ninja Rap. It's called Shell Shocked.
Is it in the movie?
It's in the movie,
Oh,
and it's done
man.
by Juicy J and Wiz Khalifa.
I don't know why people are surprised. Johnny Knoxville's a really good actor.
He is.
He's a dumbass on Jackass, but that's the point.
Yeah,
He was.
Like, he's in a lot of movies. He's a really good actor.
I really like. I can't really think of many movies he was in, but I know he was in that movie with Schwarzenegger.
He was in Dukes of Hazzards. He was really good. He was in.
he's in Walking Tall.
Yeah.
with The Rock.
He's good in that as well.
Even Bad Grandpa, if you watch it, as stupid as the movie is, the conclusion of the movie kind of tugs on your heartstrings a little bit. I don't want to. I mean, the movie's old, but yeah,
It's not that old,
You gotta check
It's
it out.
not bad. Yeah.
So, with the news that it's actually gonna be decent, you already said
I
you're
will
planning
see
on
it for
seeing
sure.
Tony,
Oh, I'm seeing it. I love Turtles, man. I'm gonna go see it.
and I believe that comes out next Friday.
I
weekend.
liked everything Turtles except for number 3, the one we don't talk about.
Yeah. And
Which
even
one's
that
that?
was
The one where they go to Japan.
yeah.
I thought we don't talk about
We
it.
don't talk
It
about
was
it.
supposed to be like.
Shut up, Moss.
So hopefully we can orchestrate some type of forward compatible
Dumbass.
viewing party for Turtles, and then we can give you guys our review, our mini review of Michael Bay's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles next week.
Yep.
It'll be cool.
Ninja, rat.
Go, 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 go.
Go Ninja, go.
On to some gaming related news here. Microsoft! They're going to Gamescom.
Nope.
No? So this news story that you told me is
Nope.
a lie? Supposedly, their press conference is going to be huge.
Yeah, this is of course the man, the myth, Phil Spencer came out. The
Not quite the legend yet.
the savior. Well, soon enough, good sir, the savior of the Xbox brand, if you will. He came out. He's like, "Oh my God, do we have some sick surprises for you guys coming at the Gamescom?" Gamescom, of course, I think is August 22nd,
Something like that.
uh,
That's the one over in Germany.
Cologne.
Oh,
Colon.
Gamescom.
Yes.
Thinking Gen Con.
And,
that's
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
That's card games.
that's the big one. That's E3 in Europe.
Yeah, European E3.
The second biggest video game conference all year. Probably in the next 5 years, it'll overtake E3. Sheer foot traffic and volume of people there, it's already 3 times as large.
Means Moss is
Open to
going to
the public.
Germany soon.
Like hundreds of thousands of people show
It's
up
open
every
to
year.
the
It's
public.
ridiculous. Yeah. So, but they have they didn't even go last year, did they?
I don't remember.
And I think Sony was the only one that showed up. I think Microsoft and Nintendo opted out last year. So, and he says they got some sick surprises.
Let's have the rampant speculation run wild right now. We'll start with Moss. They say they're gonna have some sick surprises. First thing that pops into your head from Microsoft, what are they gonna show?
I don't know. New games?
Pick a title that you know that they haven't shown yet. What are they gonna show?
I can't pick it because they haven't shown it yet. New IP.
Okay, Moss has a new IP.
I think it's going to be a lot of games, and I think the big schlobber knocker, if you will, is going to be somebody's working on that Gears of War trilogy, because we know Gears 4 is being made, and if they're smart, which they are, Microsoft's a savvy company, they're going to do that collection release the year before or 6 months before to build the hype train, like they're doing with the Master Chief Collection.
Okay.
And I also wouldn't doubt, I think it's too early. I think this would be a good filler in between Halo 5 and Halo 6. But I wouldn't doubt we get a second collection with Spartan Assault, ODST, Reach, and Wars.
They won't announce that before.
No, that would be a nice, because Halos take 2 or
I know.
3 years to make.
They won't announce that before the Master Chief's Collection comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus Halo 5 is the following year. I'm just saying this is like a 3-year into the future prediction. I think that'll be the filler in
We're
between
talking
6
about
and 7.
Gamescom next.
Hey, listen.
Get your facts together.
I personally think at Gamescom we'll see a Halo branded Xbox One that will include the Master Chief Collection. It's all in one package.
That's a terrific idea, sir. And I think we'll have no Kinect support. There'll be no Kinect
They didn't
games.
announce any Kinect games at E3, so they were probably saving that so they can shoot their load at Gamescom.
Just go nuts with the Kinect.
Yeah.
ConnectCon.
ConnectCon 2014.
Yeah. There's going to be Halo
Sounds like-
Connect.
sounds
There's going to
like
be
a-
Gears Connect. There's going to be
Forza Connect.
Forza Connect, Madden Connect, and
I also think, on a smaller note, there's going to be some Forza Horizon 2 cars announced. So I'm like,
That would make
ooh,
sense
We
because
lined up
it's-
Audi, just like a small little announcement.
Well, I mean, the game's taking place technically in Europe. So
Europa.
that would
Connect Battle Royale.
Yes. Fable, Connect. Oh, wait, we already have that.
Fable Connect 2.
Every game connects.
Yes.
Dead Rising Connect.
Rise Connect.
That was supposed to happen
Yeah.
originally.
And then they realized Connect doesn't work, so they decided
Dead
to
or
make it
Alive
with-
Connect.
That quirky little game that was shown on the Sony stage at E3, No Man's Sky, is no longer a Sony exclusive.
Suck on that, Sony!
It's coming currently PC.
Yeah, PCs. But that opens the floodgate. A lot of stuff is temporary exclusive. They call them exclusive, and they're not really
They're
exclusive.
timed exclusive.
Yeah, like look at what happened with Plants vs. Zombies, the big Microsoft Xbox One exclusive. It's fucking everywhere now. And then they eventually come everywhere. So I'm assuming that's what No Man's Sky is too. PlayStation's really does this a lot with the indie scene. They get an awful lot of games first for the Vita and the PS3 and now the PS4. It was 6 months or 8
Here's-
months down the road, they end up coming out everywhere. So
Like, just because No Man's Sky was officially shown at Microsoft, or I'm sorry, at Sony's conference, I never heard them once say that it was an exclusive.
nor did I.
Yeah, so
Maybe it was never planned to be an
that's
exclusive.
what I'm thinking. So let's take a
Fans
second
said-
and do a quick on No Man's Sky. Did you look into it at all?
I know about it.
Okay. Interest level? 1 to
Not
10?
to playing. Interested in reading on it.
Okay. So like 1 to 10, where would you put yourself?
3.
Okay. Tony?
I'm super interested, probably interest level 10. Actually, playing 0. I don't think this is a game for me.
What does that mean?
I
Is
don't,
it 0 or 10?
because the
It's
interest.
like there's a 50%
Well,
chance
no,
of rain.
Maybe
Is
if
it
you
going
ask
to
a
rain or
question,
not?
maybe if you ask a question, you can let me explain. Instead of just cutting off with another question on top of the previous
You're not
question
explaining an
that
answer.
never got answered.
You're not answering the question. You're making up your
I
own
was
answer.
waiting for this to happen because
We're fighting at lunch
we're really,
all day.
We're really feisty today.
Okay, the interest is super, super high in this game because I have a feeling this is either going to be brilliant and groundbreaking, or they bit off way more than they can chew for a little 4 or 5 person team, and it's
Stating
going
just
to,
facts now.
and it's going to crash and burn. So my interest is very high because I want to see which way it goes, because this is probably the most talked about indie I've ever seen. The anticipation level is really, really high. Am I going to personally play it? No, I don't care, which is why it's at a 0. And I think that makes perfect sense.
So I hear a 5.
I'd like to say that I mimic your views completely, and I settle that easily with my 3 by just saying I'm interested in it, but I'm not going to play it. Do you realize we said the same thing?
Do you realize I explained it in a far better capacity?
I don't think you did. Just because you speak more doesn't necessarily mean you explained it better.
It's quantity over quality.
Shit.
I'm getting it. I'm totally interested in it.
How, are you interested in it, or are you just going to get it?
I have no interest in it, but I'm going to buy it.
0 interest, 10 gonna buy.
No, but I mean, I'm into the Minecraft-esque games and the exploration games. I loved Spore back in the day. So yeah, this is definitely picking up for me. Not on PC though, because that's an inferior product.
The Waz does.
Yeah. Where's the space bar?
Check me out.
Look
Check out my
I gotta get the
mouse.
space bar to
Check
go.
out my mouse. I'm doing mouse things.
Oh wait, forgot he makes
Eating
now,
cheese.
so he plays on computers.
I use a wired Xbox 360
It's a
controller.
sad state of affairs.
That doesn't give you the full feel though.
Here's the joystick.
Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah. I just play Anteater
It's
and
just
Bubbles.
like, oh wait, so now we got Anteater in there.
That was the original.
I thought Bubbles was.
No, that was the week after.
No 1942 yet?
No, that's in the arcade.
I know. I'm just waiting for the day.
He's not a savage.
I'm waiting for the day from the. Well, you know, I was sitting at home, was bored. I played 1942 on MIM.
Just Anteater and Bubbles.
Somebody want to donate him a full arcade joystick that hooks up the PC? He'd love that.
Just to play Anteater and Bubbles.
Yes. Just so he
I
can
played
practice.
Anteater yesterday, actually.
Where?
On Maine.
Oh. And?
I did not do very well. Our competition ends August 5th. So
You
Team
got 2
Galvin
days.
Ghost is in 3rd place out of 6.
Team GGA?
It's actually the Galloping Retrocade is our official name.
Are you guys partnered with Retro?
Yeah, it's like 12 of us that are playing on the same team.
It doesn't sound as cool as the G6 conference. Sorry.
Yeah, well, that's coming.
It's G6 Summit, if you will.
Yeah, that's what it is. He just fucked up the name.
That's what I do. I fuck up everything.
You know, my DS.
Speaking of fuck ups,
My
let's
DS.
talk about Crytek.
You know,
I feel so bad because some of the guys from Vigil, my favorite company,
Let me run down the list of what we got here. Well, no, because I don't want to. Let's run it down.
No, go down the list.
My hats. Nobody's got hats on, and I need a haircut. Okay,
It's going off the rails today. I love it.
Homefront purchased by Deep Silver.
Yes.
Number 1. Crytek management walked out last week from the U.S. Branch. Crytek claims that all back money owed had been paid. Now you may proceed.
David Adams, he's the head guy at Crytek USA. He was also one of the founders of Vigil Games and the executive producer of Darksiders and Darksiders 2.
Which would explain your connection with him.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. I had lunch with him. He's like
Did he pay?
Yes.
Oh, then he is
Actually,
awesome.
THQ paid. But
Hey, whatever. That's why they went bankrupt.
Yeah, your business
You're part of the
lunch
problem.
corrupted the entire company.
You were part of the problem.
He's great. He's a huge Zelda fan too, and him and I
Really?
talked.
A guy that worked on Darksiders was
Yeah.
a Zelda fan? Who would figure?
Yeah, and his favorite Nintendo DS game is Phantom Hourglass.
Ew. Worst in the franchise. Ugh.
But so he walked out because he was not being paid. He just left a week ago.
Yeah.
Now to further that, the game that he was working on got transferred from Crytek USA. Now they're making it in Frankfurt, Germany, and they laid off some of the people, and furthermore, they after laying off some of the people making the game, they then offered that the people working on the game from Crytek USA could apply and then work on the team in Germany.
Really?
Yeah.
So they said, okay, we're going to lay you off in the States. You can reapply to work on the game
On the same game you've been working.
and go to Germany. What kind of shit is that?
So David Adams, he's a free agent. Somebody should pick him up.
Don't go to Naughty Dog.
Yeah, they need some help.
I think Nordic Games should get a development studio, a larger one.
There you go.
Darksiders 3.
All right, so you're calling BS on everybody back pay. Kind of
I'm
what
not calling
hearing.
BS. I'm not calling anything. I'm just taking his word.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm saying.
I think his word is more valuable than Crytek USA.
Well, that's the point. So, I mean, if he's one of the management that walked off,
Yeah.
you're saying the only way that he would walk off is if he wasn't paid the back money.
Now the time lapse might have not worked. Maybe he walked out because he wasn't being paid, and then they
And
paid
the-
him 3 days later.
Yeah.
But then they already canceled his game and told him to move to Germany. So
Yeah. Either way, that's still pretty shitty.
Yeah.
What about Homefront? How do you feel about that?
I don't care.
Don't.
And my interest level is 0 out of 10.
And your
You're
buyability.
gonna buy it though, right?
No.
I think I played the first Homefront. It's an excellent backstory to a first person shooter, and this game's done.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it was obvious somebody was going to pick it up. Deep Silver ended up grabbing it, so now they're owned by a German company. I think Deep Silver is German too.
This was at E3 Homefront too. It was playable.
Was it? Well, it was done. I think it's been done for quite some time. The game didn't go gold yet. It was still going through QA, but now it's done. The first one was a lot of fun. Really short campaign, but it's very cool alternate history. Like if Korea ended up actually stabilizing during the Korean War, and they joined up, and they kept going progress-wise, and ended up becoming the world's superpower. What would happen
Is that the one
if
where,
communism basically
where,
took
like,
over? It's really cool.
you kind of like you kept playing and you were like, I want to say this was the review you gave. You're like, I don't know why I kept playing it, but the last portion of the game got really good.
No, that was Spec Ops. The first couple hours sucked, and it got so good later that I enjoyed it thoroughly. Whatchamacallit, Homefront was... It's basically you're playing in a North Korean, keep in mind, controlled, communistic United States of America.
Gotcha.
And that's...
I know you played both of them. I remember the one review. That
Spec Ops was the one. It starts
Yeah,
really
Homefront,
slow.
There was something weird about like going through the doors. Was it?
No, Homefront.
Was it a weird thing where like you had to hit the action button to open the door or something? I don't remember. I think Mark was talking about it. Anyways, how do you feel about the issues with the management leaving Crytek USA and Crytek supposedly claiming that everybody was paid?
Well, Crytek's, they're also German.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they're not passing the money along, it's not management's fault. And I'm sure they feel shitty, too. They got all these people they're bossing around, and they have promised paychecks, as they do. Management doesn't own Crytek either. They're just the overseers. They're employees just like everybody else. And if they're not getting paid, they're going to feel bad for their employees who are under them who are not getting paid. And people just started walking out. I wouldn't stay at a job if I didn't get paid. What are you staying there for?
Yeah.
Like on the faith that one day maybe you'll get your money back? If the paychecks stop coming, I will leave any job.
Final question I've got for you, and then we'll wrap up half-assed news here. A, do you see Crytek going the way of THQ? And the follow-up to that is where do you see them in 6 months?
Crytek, I think, is taking the necessary precautions. They're selling off the wrong stuff, like Homefront. They essentially financed the whole thing. It's about to come out. It's finally going to pay dividends in the next 6 months, and they sold that, so they will not see a penny off it anymore.
Yeah.
They should have sold stuff that's 2 or 3 years down the line, but that's up to them. So they're taking steps to ensure their survival, which I think THQ was a little too late to do.
Yeah.
So
It didn't sell off anything. It all went to liquidation.
So I think they're learning lessons from what happened to THQ. Whether or not it pays off remains to be seen, but yeah.
Where you see them in 6 months? They recover. They still struggling. They
Right around where they are now, where there's a lot of rumors coming out. Some stuff will get better, some stuff will get worse, and yeah.
Interesting.
How about yourself?
Ultimately, I have this gut feeling that they're going to go the way of THQ. I think it's going to be a much more slow, brutal, agonizing process, where we're going to see little chunks of them falling off, like we do right now, and it's kind of unfortunate. I think the last big thing that the only way that they're going to the last thing that's going to happen before they completely go under is they're going to sell their engine, CryEngine.
That's essentially all they have of value.
Yeah.
You could tell they're whoring out everything they can. Like they just made a sick deal with PlayStation. I bet that is why they were able to pay everybody off, because now you're getting Crisis 3.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they took all that money from Sony and just relieved the debt. So it doesn't mean they profited any, which sucks, because now they're still floating at nothing. And as soon as they burn through that money, there's nothing new coming. But hey, there's always next month with PlayStation Plus. Just go back to the wishing well and be like, hey, we'll give you Crisis 1 and 2. Give us more money.
They're like,
so they could have the whole trilogy, but whatever. Okay. Tony's topic of the week. So Moss had to leave. I don't want to address it as it was happening. He's got some stuff
and things,
as it were. So we had this something that's pretty near and dear to me and Jason's hearts, being as we both employed by video game retailers. A certain video game retailer has a big announcement this past week. They are releasing, GameStop of course, releasing their own variation of a credit card.
Yeah.
Now, there's some pros and a ton of cons. Actually, one pro I can think of, and everything else is essentially a con. The one pro is where I'll start because it's easiest to get through. For people who have very poor credit, you are pre-approved if you have a power-up card. So essentially, if no one will give you a credit card, you can spend $15 for a power-up card, and you are approved. You now have a credit card through GameStop. You can make a couple small purchases, pay them off immediately, and start rebuilding your credit.
Yeah.
That is the only pro with this. Everything else is essentially a con.
Well, let's delve on that a little bit. Let's explain before we get into the cons. Okay, a lot of major retailers, Walmart, Target, Best Buy, those are the three that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure like JCPenney, or not JCPenney.
Menards has one,
Yeah.
Home Depot has one.
You can, most places offer two types of cards. You have, we'll take Target for example. They have a in-store credit card, which deducts directly from your bank account. It does help build credit, but then you have your Target Red card with the little Visa logo and all that fun stuff on there. Yeah, which can be used anywhere. I'm not sure exactly which route GameStop is going, but with the proposed interest rate of 26.6%
which is outrageous. For anyone who's under 18 that doesn't know anything about credit cards yet, that is like triple the going rate.
Yeah.
Double easily the highest rate credit card I can think of. which would be floating at 15, 16%.
Yeah.
And this is nearly 30.
I'll put it to you this way. About 10 years ago, I screwed up my credit a little bit, made some purchases, didn't pay anything off. The bank, the credit card company did not cancel my credit card, but they jumped my interest rate to 29.9. At that point, I canceled it. I'm like, I'm not that dumb. Anyways, so yeah, this is a super, super high interest rate. And I get, like what you were saying, it's anybody who has a power-up card is pre-approved, and that's awesome to an extent. But here's a little tip coming from somebody who's had to rebuild their credit before. You can go to your bank. Most banks do this. Chase, Bank of America, big chain banks, and you give them X amount of dollars, for
$200.
instance, $300, and they give you a $500 line of credit, and it's a builder's credit card, and it helps you build back up your credit, as opposed to going out and getting a credit card with such insane interest rates like GameStop is offering.
The card is fine if you don't make minimum payments. If you charge $60 on the GameStop card and at the end of the month you get your $60 bill and you pay $60, it's just like any other credit card.
Yeah.
It affects you in no way, shape, or form. Credit cards, I don't think anyone doesn't know, but just in case you don't, real quick, say you ring up $300 in whatever, they have something called a minimum payment. So you bought $300 worth of stuff, but this month you only owe $15. Now, on the remaining $285, they charge interest on it. So now the $15 you just paid is pretty much reapplied and then some in interest. So next month, you're going to owe like $304. So you really didn't pay anything off yet. And this will continually happen. That month, they'll only ask you for another $15. They don't care because they're screwing you on the interest. But if you pay it off in full, you don't have to worry about it.
So now, for you guys out there, take a $100 purchase and apply like we said, a 26.6% interest rate to that. So every month you get added on
Almost $30.
almost $30 on your $100 purchase. That's how that works for you. Anybody out there?
See how quickly that gets out of hand if you don't pay it off in full?
Yeah.
The most dangerous thing is who is doing this. This is GameStop, the pushiest retail spot in the world. You know, when you go in there and they're just like, well, can I put this on your power, or do you have a power-up card? Well, has anyone ever told you about it? Well, like, would you like to sign up? Okay, cool. Did you want to pre-order anything else along with this game that's coming out? Are you sure? Because there's all these great titles that are coming out, and it's only $5 to put down on the game. And are you sure you don't want the warranty on this? It's only $3. It protects you for an entire year, and you'll be able to scratch it or break it or do whatever you'd like. You come back, you get a new one, no questions asked, and all this crazy stuff. Now,
don't forget to take our survey.
Yeah. Now they have a credit card. So this is going to be tacked on to every single transaction you ever go through at GameStop. They're going to start pushing this stupid credit card on you. It's going to get ridiculous. It's another thing they're going to push on you at every single transaction.
Yeah. I was discussing this with a friend of mine who is well versed in the GameStop universe. And in his opinion, the company will lose a lot of really good employees over this. Because the way that it works is if we don't push that product onto you, the power-up cards, the pre-orders, the warranties,
You lose your job.
you get in trouble for not pushing this stuff on people. And it's just, here's the whole shebang. And I told you kind of and I mean, unfortunately, if I burn a bridge, it's unfortunate, but the reality is I've worked for the company on and off for about 10 years. The environment has changed drastically so. You walk into just about any GameStop, and I want you to take a look at how there's literally a cattle line. And what I mean by that is look up on YouTube how they herd cattle through the fences in lines. You're no longer allowed to just wander the store and shop. You're herded in a very specific direction 2. Into the store, all the way to the back, around, and down to the counter. Look at the layout of it. So not only are they forcing you to move in a specific direction, then they have strategic marketing to catch your eye in those specific sections. Then you're approached by an employee who has to push all this crap on you.
Or he gets in trouble. Don't ever get mad at the employees. Get mad at GameStop in general.
Yeah.
These people, these poor guys who just like video games and
are making $8, $9 an hour.
And they thought GameStop would be a cool job, and they got kind of wrapped up in the environment. They'll lose their job, or they won't get hours.
Yeah.
They'll penalize you by just not giving you shifts if you don't push all this crap. So never, ever, ever get mad at the associate. They're just trying to keep their job.
Yeah.
Write letters in those little surveys they tell you to take. Send that crap to corporate.
Give the employee, if the employee
Be like-
does a great job, give the employee a good survey.
And then it has that little
Comment
additional
section.
comment section.
That's
blast
when you tear them apart.
Be like, I can't believe you guys make them be this pushy. I cannot believe they have to do all this crap. And I've never been broad. Like, I'm just trying to buy this one thing.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be this much product pushing and all that. Well, feel free to go nuts.
Yeah, I mean that's literally what it is.
That's how they'll get the message.
You know.
Sorry, go ahead. I
yeah,
just wanted to go off.
And I mean, and like Tony said, there's a lot of GameStop hate out there, and it's misdirected at the store level, at the employees. Sure, you may get the occasional asshole.
Oh, there's assholes everywhere.
You may get, during Christmas time, that store manager that's required to work 6 days a week at 10 hours a shift, okay, from open to close or whatever the case may be, being a little snippy. That's fine. That happens anywhere you go. But most of this stuff comes down from corporate people that have never worked a day in a store ever. Back to the credit card. I don't want to get too far off.
I don't know. I mean, I don't have too much to say about it, except
It's another...
it's dangerous. Because they're going to be... Credit cards to 18-year-olds are dangerous in the first place because they don't have too much concept of what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't allow you to get in too much trouble because usually your first credit card is going to have a small limit under $500.
Yeah.
So you can't really bankrupt yourself for something like $300-$400.
But if you don't pay that...
Well,
that's where
they do cut you off. Your
Yeah.
card will start getting declined once you hit the max.
But they still keep that interest.
Oh, the interest will keep tacking on, but you can't purchase anything.
Yeah, no, I got you.
So this is like, it's very dangerous, and most reputable banks, 500 is actually really high. I think when I started, they gave me like a $200 limit.
Yeah.
And then when they see you pay yourself back and you're
Then they
responsible,
yeah.
they'll bump you up to 300, 400. Now mine's more than I care to admit because I've been paying my bill properly. It's freaking huge now. But
A lot of hookers and blow.
yeah, let me tell you something. No,
Swipe here? No.
but when you're 18 and you're a video game fanatic and you're not thinking too clearly,
And they're pushing all this new product on you. Oh, did you pre-order your Xbox One? Well, hey, now you can prepay it with your GameStop credit card.
and it's like, hey, I don't have any money. It's like, well, do you have a power-up card? I can already see the sales tactics. Well, do you have a power-up card? Yeah. Well, you're already pre-approved for our credit card. We can just go ahead and set you up, and you can put this game that you're looking very forward to. You can pay it off in full right now. We could set this all up in 10 minutes.
I mean, like,
And this is how kids
one
are.
$60 purchase, okay, kind of harmless. Think of council and all the add-ons.
Think of 2 or 3 games because that thing is when you swipe that plastic, you lose concept of money.
Uh-huh.
I do it all. I still to this day I do that. Like you swipe that card and it's just like you're not physically taking money out of your wallet, so you just it kind of gets lost on you what you're actually spending until that bill comes in. And then you're like, wow. I've done that a few months where I'm like, wow.
It's and I don't mean to kind of shamelessly plug what I'm working on here, but it's one of the main factors of me helping to open up this retail location is because I love the GameStop culture, and what I mean by that is I love going in and talking about video games with like-minded individuals, even if you like different games. That's how this podcast got started.
True.
Is because Tony worked with me at my store, and when we were slow and our work was done, or we're working through stuff, we're talking about video games and interests and things like that, and it spurs that. So I do miss that dynamic. That's, like I said, it's one of the main aspects of me opening the location that we're opening. Is I miss that dynamic of being able to sit around and talk with people and not necessarily have product pushed down my throat. And even to a degree now, and I don't mean to offend anybody, by less informed people than myself. What I mean by that is I am a gamer. I've walked into several different locations where people are pushing things on me
That they don't know anything
that they
about.
know nothing about.
This happens to me all the time because retail people are always trying to be helpful. But there's very few things that interest me that I spend a lot of money on that I don't know more about the associates. Whenever I buy a car, there's nothing the car salesman's going to tell me that I don't know. When I buy tools, there's nothing that the 16-year-old kid just scanning stuff at the store is going to tell me that I don't already know.
Yeah.
Car parts, same thing. When I need help, I'm never afraid to ask. If I'm going to buy clothes for my sister or something, what the hell do I know about women's clothes shopping?
Baby shower.
Or a baby shower. Perfect. I go in, I'm more than happy to ask the girl behind the counter, hey, what do 20-year-olds like right now? Because I don't fucking know. I'll ask you because you know more than me. But when I go in there and they're like, well, you don't really you need to, no, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, actually. Leave me alone. I'm already here. I'm ready to buy. The companies along the way somehow think they figured out, like, that being that pushy upsells.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody walks into a video game store, they're ready to buy video games. They're going to spend money.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, obviously, you get the kids and stuff,
Yeah.
but those kids that come in and just hang out for a couple hours turn out to be some of your most loyal customers that will return to you year after year after year and eventually may turn out to be some of your best employees, too.
And they also end up dragging their parents there. They may come in, hang out, see a couple games, leave the store, come back 45 minutes later, and their parents are there, and they're a lot quicker about it. They're like, fine, grab the 2 or 3 games you were telling me about, let's pay and get out of here.
Yeah. Or, I mean, even on certain levels where I've got, you have the parents that then engage with you. Oh, is this okay for him? He came home talking about it. Yeah, you already had that conversation. But yeah. Long story short, don't take it out on the
employees.
Yeah, don't take it out on the employees. Take it out on the corporate office. Fight Club.
Final thoughts. Let's wrap this bitch up.
Are you going to get one?
A GameStop credit card? No. I have 2 credit cards, which is my Max. One I use for the business, which the landscaping company that I have, and that's all expenses. And one's my personal one. The limit, I have amazing credit. I do. I always pay everything off, so my credibility's fine. So I have no need to take on second and third cards. Yeah. Also, I'm 29 now, so I've had credit for 11 years. Very good credit, and they pretty much annually raise my ceiling, and I've never even gotten close to it the last 6 or 7 years, and it keeps going up. Yeah. So there's no need to take on a second card. I have 1 card. I can't spend that much. I can spend that much in a month, but it won't happen under normal circumstances. And I'm touching Jason's leg.
I hope that camera picked that up.
Yeah, it was pretty hot. And there's just no need anymore. I have 1. I'm happy with it. The limit's high, and everything's
realistically fine. For me, if this was like the Target Red Card debit card, the way that works, again, is it's linked to your bank account. But anything I go into Target and I swipe my card and buy, there's no interest rate on it because, again, it's linked directly to my debit card, or to my bank account, I should say. But anything I swipe or anything I buy, I get 5% off. I get free shipping online and stuff. If it was like that, I'd probably do it, realistically, because I'm going in there and I'm swiping my normal debit card anyways, So if it was just a GameStop branded debit card that worked with my bank account and it had some benefits to me, like 5% off on my purchases, free online shipping, and blah, 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 and it's going to keep the employee from bugging me about it, I'd probably do it. Will I apply for a GameStop credit card with the rumored 26.6% interest rate? Hell no.
Yeah, I agree. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that little discussion. I know it's a little different than what we usually do, but it needed to be done. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Catch us next week, same time, same place.